Hey, I know what I'll do. I'll reference a Sherman tank, 3.5 feet long, right across my board. Ay, 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 me and my big ideas. Queen Straw, what were you thinking? Um, so, although it's nearly done, I realize ran into some problems here. In referencing this drawing, um, the thing that happens is, you know, thinking I was familiar with the setup, right, the design, I went ahead with a free hand as I was working these things out. And problem is, not being completely familiar with referencing this tank. Thing is, this, of course, this isn't a tech drawing, right? Side view, front view, etc. So I'm looking at my reference, which is on my laptop here. And so I go in with the inks and start blacking out shadows and stuff, taking in a rough account of what I'm looking at here and moving my way around. But anyway, the point is, upon further investigation, I started to understand something that I had remembered, but while I was doing the referencing, had somehow forgot, if that makes sense. And that is, the bottom of the track here is a series, right? It's 3 sets of a double wheel apparatus. So you got 2 wheels, and in the middle you got something that splices them together, which is actually part of the whole suspension bracket, if you would. The suspension bracket. See how it's in between? There's the first 2 wheels. Here's the second. But as I got back here, if you look at the suspension brackets, the casing and stuff, it's not falling right in between these 2 wheels. I made the mistake of, I don't know, my hand got up over eager and I started putting in the wheel before I finished the brackets, dissension in between the wheels, which is what it's supposed to be. This one too. So basically what I got to do is blend the suspension brackets in between the wheels, and remember to splice those 3 pairs of wheels just like this one, right? So I'll need what you see here between the 2 wheels. I'll need it here between these 2 and the suggestion of the other 2. So what I'd be best off doing is just run a straight edge from the one up front and just bring it back in 2 lines, and then work within the parameters of those 2 lines and just, go from there. Now the other thing that happened, which is kind of funny too, it has to do with not being fully aware of the design. And when you're working this large, what happens is you end up sectioning the reference off or the drawing off in portions. So I'm over here doing this, right? I'm working with the 2-wheel suspension and all that. And I'm up here on the turret, and then I'm over here at the barrel of the gun, and then on the track here, right? And I'm working the rollers, and then I'm in the main wheel, and etc., etc. So I'm all over the place. So what happens is, I'd consider this section as one thing unto itself, right? Of course, it's all connected to, all the components are connected to each other. But here's what happened. In the roller assembly, if you see here, it goes all the way around, right? Well, what you're actually looking at, when you look at the track, right? If you look at the track, right? You think 1 track, 2 track, right? But although that's somewhat accurate, what you actually have is, if you just take this one side, you've got actually a track that's split in half. You see that? Right up down the middle there. See that? Right? And what you got, each plate is actually two plates severed, right? So you got one plate and two plate making up one, one plate or one track, if you will. And what the roller assembly does, if you look at it, right? That's the thing. As I'm looking at it, I start to understand the mechanics of it, right? You got the roller pins. There's two of them, right? And they go through the bottom, straight through, right? Because straight through the track to the other side, and they go through the one set of plates, and then the bottom pin goes through the second set of plates underneath, and so on and so forth, and so on and so forth. So the roller assembly holds those plates together, right? And each roller is connected to more than one plate, if you get the meaning. So, but in doing that, when I was roughing this out, I realized, oh, there's these components here in the middle of the track, not even thinking there was any relationship between them and the extension of the rollers here, right? But they're part of one unit. So what I have to do now is go back and make sure see these white spots here? The black spots represent shadow, what you can't see in between the tracks, right? But what I have to do now is go back and make sure the rollers line up with the other part of the roller that shows through that space, if you get what I mean. Because it's one component that goes right through the track assembly, right? Right through to the other end, on the other side, right? Both sides do that, right? So yeah, so again, it'll be a matter of straight lines, straight through, and that will give me the guidelines for the portions of that roller component, one at a time, right? And we'll just line them up. So I'm almost there. It's almost done. And then, as I said, this will be all shrunken down. It's just, yes, sick of looking at it. Yes, absolutely. Right? And then what will take place is with this paper here, what are these, 11 by 17s? Okay, this is like maximum size I can get at with the photocopy machine I'm going to be using. Anything else, I'd have to get a photocopy made and something blown up that would cost me about $20 or something like that. Anyway, not doing that yet, but now when you lay your actual papers down, whether it's your let's see, 8.5 by 11s, which is like half of this, or your 11 by 17s, I think I got the measurement right. What often happens is you'll notice on the outskirts of your photocopy is you'll have a very thin like border of white that doesn't pick up copy. So I want to make sure that doesn't happen. So what I'm going to do is I'll take 11 by 17s, right? And I'm going to cut out equal in size some cheap Bristol board or cardboard, right? Some white stuff, and then maybe trim about a ½ inch off the side and off the bottom or top or either side, but just two of the sides, right? Trim it about a ½ inch. That way, now what? Okay, how do I put this? That way, let me think of how I need to say this. Okay, yeah, so that way, when I place it down onto the screen, I can pull it back, that fragment that doesn't show up in copy, right? And make sure I get full image on my copies, right? And what I'll do is take the portions, right? And I'll basically be lying this reference in portions in the various, you know, squares of the drawing. Reduce them after I make the photocopies, the actual sized photocopies of them. I'll reduce them all at the same rate. And folks, I'm thinking this one's going to be like at least like, it's going to be like down at least 400 to 425 down, right? To get the size I want, because I want to take the copy and then place it on another drawing that I'm working on as a background image. Maybe two tanks, and I can difference them up with a little bit of India ink, right? Because it's all black and white, and that's important to remember. But perhaps before I go ahead and do that, the other thing I might do is go around and tickle up the red ink areas that I mentioned. You can just barely see it. A lot of it, for example, in the reference was coming from things like weathering and mud on the actual tracks and parts of the tank. Whether or not I need those, I don't know. And it's not a matter of being lazy, like, oh, you don't want to put in the line work's already done. I've already done it. It's just, do I need it? Or can I go around some of it with whiteout? So it'll probably be like a combination, right, of whiting out and then solidifying the red lines with black, until it's good. But I will not spend too much more time on that. I got to get this done, reduced, and then make it presentable for the drawing. I'll show you later where this is actually not, this is a thing itself as a project, really, what I'm doing here, but it's actually just a component of another composition I'm working on once it's shrunken down. This will go into my files and stuff as a reference and all that, but that's not what it's for. Like, I don't know why I made it so big. I guess I wanted to get into detail without a computer. That's the point. Freehand drawing, no digital shit. I figured, if you want to get into detail, and instead of just blowing up inks and stuff on your Mac or whatever, I don't have a Mac. Thing is, just blow up your rough references with photocopies after you get a rough outline, and then just go to town on detail with your hand. I mean, if it's 3.5 feet long, folks, right? You can't go wrong. But then that reality hits you that, yeah, you can do that. Yeah, you can get into detail. And oh man, the detail it will show once you, how crisp it's going to look when you shrink it up and all. Oh yeah. But the fact that it is that size, it certainly took a lot of time. We're almost at the finish line. I've said that before. I'm not going to tell you when it's, when I'm going to have it finished, because I don't know. How unprofessional is that? It's true. But the thing is, that's certainly why, the size. But it is almost done. I don't know how many videos. It'll probably be one final one after I do the work. Again, in the middle of the track, polish up the suspension brackets, go in and touch up the last minute fine lines with black over the reds, eliminate some of the lines with whiteout, whatever, and and then get ready for my actual copy stencils. Oh my god, so almost done. Hang in there.